Contractors love the catch-all because it makes every single one of their roof builds easier and more profitable. Protective netting wraps facade and landscaping to prevent from left-behind nails and damage. Homeowner referrals bring you more jobs, and insurance supplements bring you more profits. But my favorite part, the branding.
The shortest process to get the work done is the easier for me.
If you do good work, you're good with people, you will always be taking orders.
And I think the reason why is they actually don't know how to roof.
So you charge more per square, you pay more per square for the repairs?
You know, like homeowners, they're not worried about how many nails you put in the shingle or things like that. They're just worried about, are they gonna make a bad decision on who they're hiring, and do they trust you? And is this guy trying to sell me? Didn't really put a whole lot into it. It's not in very many ads. You'd have to find it on the website to be able to click on it.
It's like, we're not serious. No! Like, she would not have
She would let it go.
It's like, I don't care what you do, you don't touch the thing, you don't. Mark, first of all, thank you for coming. How was the workout?
The workout was crazy. I can barely feel my legs now.
How was the cold plunge?
The cold plunge, surprisingly, was refreshing. Like it was pretty good. I like it
because of the sauna cold combination. You started in 2004. So my first question is about your early journey. What was the hardest in your first year in business, if you remember?
Well, you know how it goes when you first open your business. It's just trying to find people because you get so busy that for us, for 2004, we were actually pretty lucky because that was the time where was such the building boom and people that had home equity lines of credit and stuff. They're calling you up and they're just asking like, hey, when are you available to do work? If I knew any better, I would have retired within the first 3 years. But I was just selling so much work. It was just finding people just to actually get to do the work.
So you pretty much were order taker, like most people back then.
Yes. And that's actually kind of stuck pretty much my entire career, to be honest. It's like I'm a really good order taker versus...
That's how a lot of people are. I think it's different mentality. So a lot of people pride themselves on being salespeople or we're closer with this. But if you're good with customer service, do you agree or not? If you do good work, you're good with people, you will always be taking orders. Essentially, what's your sales process?
Yeah, then that's exactly what I say is, for me, it's really hard to interview and hire sales guys because I really want somebody that is a really good order taker. And I tell them that you should be standing there with a menu and offering people options. We're not trying to sell them. We actually want to show them options, explain to things, and why are we different? What is the, like homeowners, they're not worried about how many nails you put in the shingle or things like that. They're just worried about, are they going to make a bad decision on who they're hiring, and do they trust you? And is this guy trying to sell me? I've just tried to build it up to where the best we can, we're taking orders.
How do you balance roofing with exterior services? So you do other stuff, has your focus changed over time? Do you try to do more just roofing, or what else you do, and how does you focus one?
Correct, yes. I started as home improvement, but I knew roofing, so I like to do roofing, and we focused on that. That's the only thing I ever really advertised for my entire career is roofing. We found that there's obviously more exterior work that you can do that goes hand in hand. There's not a whole bunch of jobs where somebody is getting roofing, siding, windows, gutters, trim, and they only want to hire one person. Like that, those come and go, but it is being able to do a roof, but we can pull all the siding off of a dormer and put new siding on a dormer. So, like we run across all these other things that other roofers, they just can't do it. And we can bolt stuff on. You can easily add on some gutters or their trim or something, other things that they were planning to do anyway.
If you want to do more roofing jobs, why not rebrand and focus being a roofing company?
And I'm like halfway there, halfway in. I'm, instead of Wrightsville Home Improvement, I'm Wrightsville Roofing and Exteriors now. And then we just literally turn down anything that's...
But even your shirt says...
Correct. Like, it even says Home Improvement on the shirt still, yes.
But are you still trying to go that direction?
Correct. And I do have the actual legal trade names to be able to do that. To still keep Wrightsville in the name. But I've heard you talk about it too. And I was thinking about a rebrand of just more of the roofing. But then the stuff that comes that we still have to do along with it, we'll do it. We're not going to tell them that we're not going to pull off siding or put it back to be able to do the roof.
Of course. Why retail and not insurance?
The shortest process to get the work done is the easier for me. We don't even like to deal with, if there's more than 2 people in the decision and what's going on, I want to be able to come here and present the options, let you make a decision, and then we move on. When you get to insurance, now there's so much going on in the industry that it turns into so much more work that I could show up and I can have your roof done within a week to 10 days or so. Insurance, now we're putting this thing out months and you're arguing back and forth what needs to be done. And to me, I set the price. Some guy that's reading a book that's from a different state that is trying to, I know what my costs are to do business. I know what it takes to do it right. And I'm not going to cut any corners to try to get to fit into what the insurance is paying for a job. And that's hard to explain to homeowners of, you have this insurance claim and they're giving you $10,000 and you have an $18,000 roof, but here's why this, and this. And for me, it's just easier.
How do you explain to the homeowners that we have to charge more for insurance? Because so many people don't get it. They think it's price rigging or we're taking advantage of insurance companies.
Correct. And if somebody does have an insurance claim, they have a true insurance claim, my price doesn't change. I'm not charging more or less based on insurance. Here's my price to do the thing. The difference that we have done, if somebody does have an insurance claim, is we will give them all the detailed pictures. And then on our estimate sheet, then we will just put the square count, the linear footage, not per price line. They're going to get one price, but then we put all the figures in there that I know insurance is going to want. And we're like, no, here's my invoice. And then we say, how do I get to it? Well, there's how I got to it. You put your own numbers on it. You make it work, Mr. Adjuster. You figure it out, but...
Is your price usually higher or lower than insurance companies?
Well, it's normally higher because their scope of work is going to have 3 line items. But if you get it to 25, 27 line items, the insurance scope is actually going to be much higher. If you follow their exact pricing and exactimate, it's going to be higher.
The repairs made up $1.8 million of your sales last year. Why are they more profitable than roof jobs?
One thing, we can get more of them done. I can run 3 or 4 repair crews that are doing 2 or 3 repairs a day. And I've been a repair-focused business. I'm a roofer. I know how to roof. So we made the switch 5 or 6 years ago of we stopped dealing with so many in-house employees. Because in-house employees, there's always something going on. When you got 12 to 15 employees for installers,
sick days,
just somebody is sick, the car broke down, they're tired. It's the same, they're hungover, like the same stuff. They're paid by the hour. They show up to work, they get paid. They don't show up to work, they don't get paid. How long it takes to do a job doesn't matter to them. So we moved to a subcontractor model, which we're upfront about with homeowners. But I have the same subcontractors. I have one subcontractor that he's worked on and off for me for 17 years. A lot of people are 5, 6, 7 years. So the difference is we've taken our subcontractors and gone on jobs with them and taught them the way that we want it done. We taught them the repairs. And it's good for them. They can go do their big roofs on like Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday, they can go do repairs. It's easier on those crews too, and they realize they can make the same amount of money doing repairs.
So you charge more per square, you pay more per square for the repairs?
Correct. It's about a percentage base of the repair, which is only going to come from years and years and years of doing it, to know that I look at a brick chimney and it's that size, and I have pricing pretty set in the CRM with a few notes to add or change.
What's your
something.
average repair?
My average repair is about $3,800.
$3,800. Mm-hmm. What's your average replacement?
Average replacement is right around $20,000 now, give or take.
20 grand. Makes sense. Why so many roofers don't offer repairs?
Man,
and what's the number? Is it 70% roofers don't do repairs, 80%? What do you think it is?
It's a very high percentage that don't do repairs, in my market anyway. And I think the reason why is they actually don't know how to roof. Mm-hmm. There's guys that I'm surprised that, they finally actually got a ladder to put in their truck to make it look like they're a roofer. Guys don't get on roofs. They don't know. They just go in there and just talk this big game and just try to sell. Or they're just trying to sell off of price. And that's all they're trying to do, and they're just trying to move volume. They just want to move volume, and they really don't know how to actually do the repairs. And I've tried to teach this to other people. It's like, listen, and somebody in my market actually listened to me about this, is you don't actually have to know how to diagnose every single thing. If that chimney is leaking on the back of the house, you can offer them to do just that slope. I think Rodney Webb teaches that. Just do the slope.
Do the slope.
And then just have a good referral partner, which I'm the referral partner for a lot of other companies. It's too small of a repair, they don't want to do it. So if somebody needs one pipe collar, a couple shingles, I'll do it. And here's why I do those repairs. I might go do a $750, $800 repair, and I don't make any money. So my marketing budget is very, very, very low. I had like a 2% marketing budget last year. But if you were to go figure in the jobs that I do that make no money, that should actually kind of be in marketing, because if I just came and sold you an $800 repair, I broke even, just off the gross, no profit, but you just paid me to become my customer, basically. And then they would have called so many other people that didn't answer the phone, didn't show up, wouldn't do repairs. Now I'm on their short list of people that they're going to call when they need a new roof. And we moved into relationship marketing, and we followed up with them for 2 years. So they remember who we are, they refer us to other people, and you just keep growing off of each little branch that you put out there.
You're also in a 20% net club, which is, I would say, knowing the books of so many roofing companies, you're a true top 1%. I've seen books with a lot of guys, usually $5 to $10 million companies. They can pull off 20%. If the owner is still involved in the business, if he is not completely out and has a few salespeople, congrats. Like, good job there.
Yeah,
and I think part of the success is because you do repairs, you understand it. I also think, and you tell me if you agree or disagree, I think it's one of the biggest problems in the industry today, especially storm restoration, that so many contractors don't know how to repair a roof, don't offer it. So as a result, what do? So they only have one option. They have one thing, is to tell the homeowner they need new roof, because they cannot offer anything else. So if you're a roofer and you part of the 80% club who don't do repairs, you're doing disservice to people, because guys who will offer repairs, they actually can do both. You cannot do this, so you have to sell the full job, and maybe they still have 3-4 years left on their roofing job out of their roof. Now you're pushing them for replacement.
Yeah, and I have 2 different comments on that. We're there to help the people, right? And sometimes they just don't want a new roof right now. They don't. And I see some of these videos posted online and stuff, and I'm like, insurance companies should hire me as an expert because I can show you how to repair that. And I see these guys arguing with this stuff. Well, it's got a 39-inch shingle. And dude, they just need a $400 repair to get through something. Like, it's going to work. It's fine. If insurance would involve, you would go do that. So we're there to help the homeowner. We're not there to pad our pockets. When we do great work, we're going to make money, plain and simple. 100%. So, and I believe Adam Bensman speaks about this, that yes, if we go sell them $1,500 worth of repairs now, or they could pay $10,000 for a roof, but it lasts 5 more years, now that roof is going to be $15,000, $17,000. So then actually they're paying like $18,000 to $20,000 when they could buy a new roof now. So we do present the options to the people. We do explain it to them. We tell them about how it's going to cost more. And then it comes down to money. A lot of people don't have the money, so you offer payments or whatever, and you let them make the decision. I went on there, here's what I suggest. You got this, this, and this. What would you like to do? And sometimes they just want to do the $400, $500, $600 repair. Get through that now. They might have a bonus coming at Christmas or their tax return or inheritance coming or something, and then they're going to look to go do stuff with their roof. And you're the one they're going to call because you helped them out before and you fixed their leaks.
How many pushy contractors do you have? Do you see a lot of companies who, start here, drop the price, don't leave until people sign? Is it pretty common in your market?
There is a handful. I think it's probably less than 10. And I mean, they're big players, like big national companies. And even the biggest company in our market was bought by a national company now. And yeah, these are ones that are $1,800 a square. And by the time they're getting kicked out the door, they're down to $1,200 a square. And people ask me for discounts too. You can have a discount, that's fine. Here's the scope of work. You tell me which piece you don't want to do. I felt it's more honest to give the best price to start with. When you show up, here's the best price to start with, not, oh, if you sign here, oh, we do it today, or put a sign in the yard, or refer me 3 people. Like that, I don't think that's very honest. Because if you don't ask for a discount, now you paid too much. So it is a low percentage of people that are pushy like that. There's a benefit to the market too, because rising tides raise all ships. So when you have somebody, when you talk about a scale of 1 to 10 on price, you got all those guys that are up at 10. You got somebody like me that's like 6 or 7. It makes me look a whole lot better that I have a better scope of work than somebody that's $40,000 more. Because there's a difference between making good money and there's a difference between ripping people off at the end of the day. I mean, there is.
What's the secret, though, to net 20% a year?
I'm still actively involved.
Okay.
Currently, I don't pay myself a sales commission, but last year I didn't run very many sales either. But we just got to run lean. You talk about the 20%.
What's the overhead?
20% of people do 80% of the work. I got rid of the other 80%. We run pretty lean and efficient.
So when you have employees, what was your profit there?
Oh, that was before I even knew to run my numbers. That was back when I didn't know what the difference between a net profit and a gross profit. I couldn't tell you because I didn't know. I just get my tax return at the end of the year and be like, okay, it looks like we made money. Back then I just didn't know. And that's
what changed when you started diving into the numbers and running by the numbers.
What changed was I realized that there was more work coming in that we could handle. I needed to know what to do differently. And I needed to learn how to get myself out of the way for doing that and actually move over to using software and writing systems and processes and having a standard so that if they talk to anybody in the company, they get the same experience between. It's funny because somebody will call the office and they tell them something and the people don't like it. They'll ask around, they'll get my personal phone number, they'll call me and they'll get the same exact answer that the office, and they're like, well, I just want to hear it from you. And that's the way it should be, is that we know what to do. Like today, I'm here with you. Not one person from my company has reached out to me and asked me a question about anything, that I've empowered them to make decisions and handle stuff. And I put them in that position and I trust them to do it. If they mess something up, that falls on me. We go back and we say, hey, maybe next time I would have done like this, this, or this. And then you have to have leaders in place and leaders in charge. Like if they're in place but not in charge, you're not getting anywhere. And we run it pretty lean by just having the managers run stuff.
How did you manage to teach your subs how to do repairs? You're not afraid that they're gonna do it for other people, or what's the process look like?
Yeah, so good for them. I mean, they can't work for me every day anyway. There's rules about that. Then you're blurring the lines between employer. When I teach them a skill, I'll refer them to other people and be like, hey, you guys needed somebody else to do repairs? Here you go, call this guy. This guy's good with steep slope. This guy's good with low slope. This guy can do slate. This guy can do cedar. We meaning like me and production manager, we take them on jobs and just literally like, oh, we sold this flashing job, this chimney job or whatever. Let me show you how to do it. The only difference is they use a few more shingles than I would use. That's it. They just tear up a little bit more. And if anything, what I found is I would have done it this way, and these guys want to make sure, so they do a lot more actually because they seem to take pride in the work. And I don't really have callbacks, but if there was a problem, they know that I'm going to call them and go back out there and take care of it.
Let's talk about some industry trends. You have instant quote tool. What's your take? Does it help to close deals, or is it just another thing you have to explain to the homeowners?
Yeah, so the instant quote tool, I'm probably actually going to get rid of it because I didn't put enough into it to even get it really set up that it's there. And the only thing that it has worked really good to use for is we don't like to deal with insurance. We don't like to deal with real estate transactions because you get a call from somebody tricked us yesterday, and one of my guys showed up and they found out when they got there. Somebody has a house for sale. Home inspector says it needs a new roof. They just want a number to negotiate off. So if it's the buyer, they want the highest number they can find, and the seller wants the lowest number they can find. And I say, good news for you. you can get this right now. Nobody has to come out here. Here's a link, put in the address, and it'll give you some options, and it'll get you close enough to go off of. And
Why don't you charge for it? Can you just sell them?
You can't charge it. We will charge that. Yep. We'll
100
charge
to 100 bucks.
Yeah,
inspection.
like 150, 200 bucks. Honestly, it depends on how the attitude and how they talk to us. But if they're super nice, we'll go do it for 100 bucks and we'll just write it up. And then if somebody hires us, we'll credit it towards the job. Nice. But that's the only thing the roofing quote tool is. It's one of those things I kind of added it and then didn't really put a whole lot into it. It's not in very many ads. You'd have to find it on the website to be able to click on it. Not a lot of it's there.
What's the biggest difference between your average customer in 2004 and in 2025? Do you think people changed, consumer behavior changed?
Consumer behavior has changed immensely. You know, when I first opened my company, I advertised in the phone book. And then when the economy went down, I put a bigger ad in the phone book because so many other people pulled out. And I got so many more calls from the phone book. Who uses the phone book? The older people, right? And actually, I still have a magnet on the front of the phone book that people pull the magnets off and they put them in their fridge and they throw the phone books away. But here's where the consumer changed, is the older people that tend to know who that was, to now if somebody calls us as they found the phone book, we almost don't even want to talk to them anymore. Because the generation that's now the old people has changed of where it was 10, 15 years ago. 10, 15 years ago, our grandparents knew to buy quality. Do it right the first time and buy quality. A lot of the people now, they still live paycheck to paycheck. I'm talking about people who are now like in retirement age. Maybe they are in their sick, maybe they have, and that's all they have is Social Security coming in. So when they call around, they just want to find the cheapest thing they can possibly get, and they don't care how long it's going to last. They just want to put the least amount of money as possible, and they will just keep putting money in it. I recorded a video like 2 weeks ago. I think I've been repairing this roof for like 7 or 8 years. We added up, it was like $9,000 or $10,000 in repairs. And we're like, you could have had a new roof by now, but they only call us up $700, $800, $1,000, $1,500 at a time. So the buyers, the older generation of buyers has changed. You know,
what about the newest?
The newer generation, to me, there's kind of two different things there. So you have like these older people, and then you have people like our age, and then that kind of runs into the millennials, and then you got some people behind them. And we've heard the term that, you know, tough times create tough people and easy times. And I feel like there's like a little bit of a pocket generation in there that are getting that mindset too. They want the cheapest and whatever. And you just got to make it easier on doing business with those people. That's how you're going to sell them, make it easier. But there is like a micro generation that's kind of come out, and they're a lot younger. They're like in their mid-20s and these homeowners are, if they actually are homeowners, they are realizing they want quality, and they're like, I'm paying for this once. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it once. I want the best I can get, and I want it to last. And it's starting to come back around. It's kind of like it skipped a little generation and then came right back around there.
What's your comment on pricing? All the price increases? Because I know like selling $20,000 jobs can be a little different than selling $10,000 job. Yeah. Do you feel like a lot more people cannot afford a roof today?
Yeah, I think there are some people that just literally cannot afford it because, I mean, everything's expensive.
I mean, $30,000, $40,000 project, who has $30,000, $40,000? Like percentage-wise?
Correct. Like, sure, they might be writing me a check, but where did that money come from? They borrowed it from themselves or somebody else a lot of times. Yeah, they put it on a credit card. They'll do payments. They might have borrowed it from mom and dad, a family member, pulled it out of a retirement account. Yeah, people don't really have that money just sitting around.
Do you feel like word of mouth is coming back versus like regular ads?
I have numbers on it, and I have always been about 80 to 85% word of mouth or repeat customer. That is 100. That's where most of my business comes from.
Do you feel it's coming back though? Do you feel like more? Because a couple of years ago, I would say like people stopped talking to their neighbors. People just start like word of mouth is Facebook, right? Like if you don't have a presence, they cannot tag you. They can't, you know, if you have bad branding, they don't recommend. Like, you know, people in general less social. So now like with the social media, like it's easier to just like text and tag.
Yeah.
But that's also word of mouth.
Yeah,
Just
agreed
different.
to an extent because right there with the COVID thing, it did change how social people were and talking and doing all that. And then we're in the information. I mean, there's so much information. People can just find it online. Mm-hmm. And then they can click here, and find that information. I mean, I did the same thing. I never talked to anybody at the hotel. I booked it online, checked in digitally, went in there. And if you make that process easier on your people coming in, that's where that goes. But the referrals are still there. And it's not always, it's not just the referrals, it's the fact of wrapped trucks and seeing the guys out there working, like putting the yard signs up in wrapped trucks. I mean, that's the cheapest form of advertising you can get. I don't know why everybody doesn't have them on their trucks. I mean, it's one time, man, and you wash and wax that thing every now and then. It lasts 5, 6, 7 years.
I've done recently Top Golf events, and I would go out and see who showed up, right? So you'll have like 50 trucks. And in Atlanta, we have 70 people. So tons of trucks. I counted 7 vehicle reps. So I called them out. I was like, guys, you don't want a business? Like I went out and those 7 trucks, I know who they are. I actually have people stand up, to these companies. And I was impressed with those 7 trucks. But you have 50 people and they're all in the same market. And you know what they do? They complain, oh, it's competitive. It's this and that. Yeah, it's competitive, but you're not standing out. You just went to Top Golf, local event where Top Golf is beautiful as far as like a community goes. Like who goes to Top Golf? It's people with the money, with the hobbies, right? In the middle of the day. So now you could be advertising to them and you have nothing to show for.
Yep, and all the rest of them look the same. I mean, so we're very specific on how does the truck look? It's got to be washed. You can't put anything on the dashboard. I would choose somebody out over that. And they have to do a vehicle inspection every week and go through, make sure stuff. And then how do you park when you get to their house?
Oh, yeah, that's big.
Like you've got to park not in the driveway, park so they can see when they open the front door. And it's all these little things that then people just see you around and they think that you're a lot bigger than you are.
That 100% agree, but I also know why a lot of guys don't wrap cars, because it will happen if you drive recklessly on a highway in a neighborhood. You're gonna get called immediately, and you will get that 1-star review. Like people report, right? We all do it. If you see FedEx like speeding in the neighborhood, what are you gonna do? You're gonna report that driver. If you see a wrapped roofer doing that, you're like, hey. I remember I did my flooring company. I put decals and I sold the flooring company. And the guy who I sold it to went on the highway. We got a call the same day. He was speeding on the highway, and we got this very mad person like, "Hey, is this company? This guy was just going 90 and it's like 65." And I'm like, Roman, what did he do?
It's tough, and then that comes down to a culture and core value fit, and that if somebody is driving and doing stuff, like, do they truly fit and are they looking after our company?
People shouldn't be afraid of it. That should not be the reason not to do it. You're serving people. You should be your check, right? Like it's another reason to be professional.
No, have standards in place. Like we have vehicle trackers on them. Not that I need to. If I need to
it's very important.
If I need to look up to see where you are, you don't need to be working for me. But what's good is we'll get the alerts. So if there's somebody slamming on brakes or speeding or ran a red light, it'll send an alert. Which, that's a little bit of babysitting, but still now we realize that there was one guy that I hired him, trained him, got him already going. As soon as I got him in the truck, he got 17 alerts the first day. He came back in the next day and I fired him on the spot. I was like, dude, just 17 alerts the first time he drove my truck? I was like, nope. And sometimes it alerts when it's not serious, but that's an excuse. If somebody says they're worried about people driving and getting bad phone.
Guys, comment below. How do you deal with people driving your vehicles? What kind of procedures you have in place? I actually replaced engine on one of them. I got 2 calls from landfill. I have a Chevy 6.5 diesel dually, and this guy, I've been working for me for like 30 days. Took the heavy trailer to the landfill. Was doing donuts. So I got 2 calls, and the very next day the engine blew up. How do you blow up 6.5 liter Chevy diesel, like beautiful engine? And it cost me like $7,000 to replace it. I fired him on the spot too. So, and the guy who called me, he was actually a roofer, so, because it was all Storm Group decals. He's like, Dmitry, is this your brother? I'm like, no, he's not my brother. He's like, well, I'm comfortable, like, here's what's happening. And it sucks. Let's talk a little bit about different culture. You mentioned something when we were in Asana. Let's talk about culture of our manufacturers. So you've installed GAF, Owens Corning. What else did you install over the years?
Elk back in the day before GAF bought them.
So
that was a good shingle.
How do those cultures different from each other?
They're extremely different culture.
How do you describe it?
GAF, I learned a lot from GAF over the years, and they really supported me and taught me a lot. But GAF, to me, if you go to a GAF convention, you're going to party. And that's what they're there for. And they set them in party cities, typically. It's going to be a casino, and you're going to go there and party. There might be a little bit of a class here, a class there. But Owens Corning, to me, like, they've always tried to raise the level of the way we do things.
Education.
And it's going to be education sessions and like a nice formal sitting at dinner and a nice outing somewhere. And it's going to be very formal and teaching you, and not just here, buy our new product. You know what I mean? They're just going after the fundamentals and teaching you what EOS is or something, or something new about marketing or whatever. And they just try to make us better. It's the way that the culture has always seemed to me. I think that GAF is their best customer is low price and high volume, and puts on as many roofs as they possibly can. And they're not particularly looking for somebody that's going to do top quality, charge good money, do golden pledges. In Owens Corning, they stand behind their product, and they really like when we do the nice jobs and register the warranties and do all the work and do a good job.
Interesting take. Never heard it about culture, but comment below, my OC and GF guys, do you agree with this assessment? Whatever you install. My craziest experience with OC was they were so serious. It was one of the IREs, and you know how they have the Pink Panther running around? Mm-hmm. So we were arm wrestling each other. So I wrestled like 3-4 guys, and we just finished arm wrestling match on someone's table. And people were calling me out like, hey, I want to arm wrestle you at that time. There was a year of arm wrestling. It was weird. But we see this Pink Panther, and we're talking, interacting, and I said, let's arm wrestle. Just for the video. We're just making content. Yeah. And Pink Panther were going for it, whoever was wearing the suit.
Right.
This lady, she was like top manager there, running at us. Absolutely no physical activity with the Pink Panther. We're not actually arm wrestling, just for the video. I wanted to Panther to drop me, right? And she's like, no. It's like, we're not serious. No. Like, she would not have
she would let it go.
It's like, I don't care what you do. You don't touch the thing. You don't. Oh, it was fun. Like it was.
Yeah,
it was totally like I get that there are guidelines, policies, and stuff.
Yeah, I do know they're a little strict on that. That if we want to put the Pink Panther in, we have to get it approved.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do know that.
And we've done it. Like
they
shipped it to us, but it's like no physical activity. It's like I'm still a little salty about that. No, it's totally fine. But it's fine. Like
maybe your next fight is the Pink Panther.
But you have to take your brand seriously, because a lot of people, they just joked around too much, and you have to, actually Jeff Bezos owns it now. So he bought Golden Meyer, and the trademark goes to him. So I'm pretty sure they pay like licenses fee and stuff.
So to your comment about your brand is everything my brand is my name, Reitzel. I mean, how many different people that I see are in business, and then all of a sudden now they're not trading as Smith's Roofing anymore. Now they're ABC Roofing, and then now they're XYZ Roofing. And man, your brand is where it's at. Like if you can't use your own name anymore, what kind of work are you doing?
So you've been doing it for 20 years. How many companies you've seen changing names? And usually it's due to bankruptcy or not paying their bills, correct?
Correct. And hey, if you're not failing, you're not trying. So there are some great guys out there who had a business, it failed, they opened another one, and they've been very successful.
Of course.
But I'm talking about the guy that there's some people on 6, 7, 8 businesses now that now it's ABC Roofing 3 Inc. or something along those lines, to where actually somebody put me up against the bid last week and they wanted me to match everything. And I was like, I can't match everything. She's like, why? I was like, well, I've been in a consistent business for 20 years. And the person you're putting me against, it hasn't been that. Whoa, no, that name's been around. I'm like, the name has been around, yes. But who actually owns that business? They have ABC Roofing trading as XYZ Roofing now.
Wow.
Which I want to make a comment on that too is, we've all heard from the private equity coming in and buying stuff and whatnot. And there are several companies that have sold near us, and they're owned by really big national corporations, and they've kept all of their same name and branding in place. To me, I think it's dishonest that their advertising says that they're family owned and operated. You're not family owned and operated. That owner sold that company and they're gone and they got their check and they're out there fishing on a boat. And you still put that you're family owned and operated, but all of us in the industry know that no, you're owned by a national corporation who kept that branch. And I think that's a little bit dishonest. Yes, you want to keep the brand, but you should, if it's Reitzel, you could say this is Reitzel Roofing Exteriors and it's owned by ABC Roofing. You just put trade as right there on it and just be upfront about it.
In your market, do you see the shift towards insurance or retail? Like insurance companies tighten up their budget and stuff, how much they pay. Where do you see it's going in your area?
In our area, the thing is we don't get hail like the rest of the country does. And if we do, it's small and it's soft. And if it damages your roof, you needed a new roof anyway. And it knocks off so many granules, you can't even tell where the hail hits are. So we have wind damage is the only thing that we actually have there. And for us, there's threats of a hurricane coming in a couple weeks from now. It depends on those windstorms that come through. So every now and then you get like a big thunderstorm comes through or straight line winds. That it's more for us, the insurance is going to be trees down on a house or wind. But sometimes they'll have 200 shingles missing and the adjuster goes, hey man, I'm not allowed to pay for any new roofs. If I do, they're going to fire me. So I'm going to write this for repair and you got to deal with it. And I'll walk right away and be like, I'm not going to deal with it. So the only claims we get is going to be if there's like a big nor'easter or we get the edge of like a hurricane or tropical storm. And that's about it.
We have public adjuster behind the camera. We'll ask him this question on the next podcast. Let's switch gears a little bit towards retail and financing. In 20 years, how did financing change? We already talked about people don't have as much money as, towards the roof replacements. What do you see in financing?
Financing changed because they made it so much easier that if you want to finance, it's as fast as I can type it in and hit enter and it comes back approved or not approved. You sign the loan documents, done, and I can do the roof next week. There's no, somebody has to come out and look at your house and inspect and do this loan and all that. And another thing about the finance is now you can finance down, you can do the repairs. So think about everything that you buy now, there's an option that you can click that you can do payments.
I think I've seen it at Starbucks or something, like smallest purchases ever.
Yeah.
They want to finance this.
And I don't think that people should be running up a whole bunch of credit, but sometimes you have to because they don't have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a repair. Replacement, they're kind of planning, they're getting their money together, they're saving, they're coming for wherever. The repairs is where it gets to people. Most people don't have that money saved. And that's where it has helped out financing is that you can offer it for repairs. That's the big difference.
You're referring to fintech companies, fintech loans. What's your take on them? Like Mosaic, Leap, Green Sky, are they good or they're bad for the industry? Because there's so many options and some of them are very expensive.
I know. And the hardest part for us business owners is that we have to pay the expense for a bunch of those loans.
Oftentimes.
So there might be 35 different loan options, but we're only going to offer like 3. And then we just eat the fee. If it's like 5% or less, we're just going to eat the fee because you're going to eat a 3% fee on a credit card or, for us, like the faster we just get paid, it's like just work it into your margins, raise your margins by 1% all the way around, So then if somebody pays with a check, now you just made an extra 1%. If they want to pay with a card, then fine. And if they want to do a payment, fine. But trying to offer these loans that they've got an extended period of time with little to no interest, I think that's bad. And I think that it's a whole nother topic, but I think that's what went wrong in the solar industry, is they were trying to get these super low payments, but nobody's looking. There's 25 and 30% dealer fees on these things. And these homeowners, if you were to present them the option and say, hey, do you want to pay an extra $40,000 for this so you can finance, or would you have finance for this term? They're going to pick the other one. They're not. I think that's dishonest to do it like that.
I agree. You've been doing it for 20 years. Any burnouts? How do you manage your work-life balance, your wife, your kids?
Yeah.
Like, what's the secret there?
Well, my wife just knows I'm at work now after all these years. But I mean, there is no work-life balance. I mean, it's all life. And my pastor always says that he can look at your calendar and your checkbook and he can tell you what's important to you. And that's where you're spending your time at. When you spend your time and your money, that's what's important to you. And you just have to prioritize. Like, we worked out this morning. We got it done first. So when this day gets too long, we don't have to worry about doing the end of the day. So you got to take care of yourself. So what I learned was I have got to show up as the best I can for myself. It's in my company core values. The first core value is to show up, which means show up in your best self for the day, ready to go. Take care of yourself first. And then you can be there for everybody else. And I mean, the work-life balance is, you just have to put the stuff on the calendar. I mean, your kids are going to grow up really fast and be out of the house. And then that time is gone and you spend it at work.
You know what I do? I the moment I come from vacation, I'm already planning another one. Because I just went to Jamaica and I booked it 6 months in advance, paid for everything. And it seems like so far, but I know if I don't do it, summers are crazy, they're hectic. But if I don't put it on the calendar, in the summertime, looking for a vacation in 2-3 weeks options where you cannot have good flights, or this sold out or that sold out, or you already have something on the calendar for that week, it's not gonna happen. So you have to block it. So, spring break, always blocked. August, always blocked. July 4th, always all the trips, block them as fast as possible and build your life around it.
And we try to teach that to our employees too. Put the calendar, put it in there, take it off, go spend the time. What do we work for?
I'll give you another bonus, guys. Be very intentional. Put on a calendar anything that that is important. Also should be on a calendar. When I started YouTube channel, before even the Roofing Insights channel, was for my company Stormwood Roofing, and I knew I have to create content. So every Tuesday was my filming day. I would just hire a videographer coming to me every Tuesday, and I knew that Tuesday morning, no matter how I feel, whatever, I had to prepare. Because if it's not on the calendar, you're not gonna do it. And I often ask people why you don't do Facebook? Why you don't do videos? I know I should. Well, because it's never been on your calendar. You should, but you never dedicated time to do it. But if you say, hey, first thing in the morning, I make a Facebook post, or I make a video, or short, or whatever, get that camera. It's a habit. It's a muscle. You have to train it.
Yeah, and for me, my workouts are on the calendar. Getting off work early to go to dinners on the calendar. Chiropractor, massage, those things are on the calendar. And then as the business owner, I've tried to move to not being in the field at all as much as possible on Fridays. This year I took a little bit of step back, had to go do some sales because we've just been that busy, but you got to mark the time in the calendar to work on the business stuff. And I have one more comment about the whole business owner thing is people ask, we had the conversation back during COVID. And the conversation was oh man, so much is going on. What are we going to do? I'm so worried about this is coming up. And then we can't go to school. And then they're like, well, Mark, what do you think? I was it's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm a business owner. I've dealt with this. It's not just the employee. We're worried about their families and everybody else is involved. And as the business owner, you can't quit. Those employees can get mad at you and walk out the door and quit, and they can get hired somewhere else and go work somewhere else. Business owners, we can't quit. There is no excuse. You can't. You've got to be there for the people, and you have to show up. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. you're not having the best day, things are going on, you still have to show up and do the work and put in and pour into people. And then that's why you got to show up the best you can when you have all this going on, and you got to help everybody else because you can't quit.
Your dad flipped houses. Why didn't you do it with him? And like, talk to me about what your dad does and how did it influence you, help you?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Like my father's retired military, and so he retired when I was 13. So then, and they always had rental properties and flipped houses before there was an HGTV. So
golden time.
Yeah, so we learned back in the day going and fixing stuff on rental properties. I mean, I remember crawling underneath houses and redoing insulation or changing a hot water heater and things. And Saturday morning would come and he would be like, some of my other brothers weren't as much into it. They'd be like, well, you guys clean this and cut the grass here. And he'd take me, he'd be like, hey, we're gonna go put a hot water heater on this property over here. And I just learned how to do that stuff. And then somewhere along the way, he picked up a roofing company when we were in high school. And back then, buying a roofing company, he bought a pager from somebody. A lot of y'all don't even know what that is, but he bought a pager.
That was the company?
That was the company, was that people would page that pager, and then you call them back and do the work. But he had partnered with another guy for a little while hanging on that, and then that's where we really learned roofing, which going back on it, some of that stuff wasn't exactly the best way, but I learned all that, and then did a few things, worked for other people on and off over the years. I think Dad just kind of had like business stuff going on that was like kept us doing whatever. And then, we all got a little bit older. I have 3 brothers, and then 2 of us ended up in construction. And we got older, and then, opened my business just whenever I saw all the problems with all these other people, then that's when I decided to finally go on my own.
What did you learn from your dad? Like, that you do now every day?
What's funny, because my dad will probably tell you that like I surpassed his skills a long time ago, like he can do it, but I just learned all the basics of pretty much everything, between plumbing and carpentry and electrical and stuff like that, because, he was doing all that when he was in high school, before he joined the military.
Why is it so hard for us to teach our kids now? Like, your dad learned it, you learn it. Do you think your son will learn?
So it's not that hard. No, my son's 17 now, but he started repairing roofs with me for neighbors and friends. We couldn't bring him to work, but stuff we were doing for free for other people, or people buy them. He was 12 years old. Especially that was back at COVID time, and they weren't in school. It was like, hey man, do you want to go do some pipe collars with me, do vents now, or replace a vent, or do a valley, or things like that. He doesn't like 2-story roofs, and he doesn't like steep roofs, but he's learned this. It's funny because now, like I said, he's 17. He got his own, he just helps people around the neighborhood doing small jobs himself now on his own, and eventually wants to open his own company. It's funny because he'll go get my trailer, go fill it up at somebody's house and remove some junk from him, park it back at my shop, and then we got to pay and dump it. He got paid for it, but I think he's a little bit going to follow in my footsteps. Who dad wouldn't want him to do that?
Really quick, last 5-6 questions. Let's try to pound through it. What's the one sentence you tell people who wants the lowest bid?
What would you tell one sentence if somebody wants the lowest bid?
So I call you Mark, I just wanted the lowest bid. What would you say?
Well, if they're calling me, tell me on the phone, I'm just going to say sorry. But here's the thing is, I'm not going to be your lowest bid. I'm going to be your best value for the work that's done. There's a big difference between the two. There's plenty of other people that will do work and risk their license if they're licensed. In my state, you're required to have a license to do anything over $1,000. Roofs cost over that. I'm not going to risk my license by not doing minimum basic code on a roof because somebody doesn't want to pay for it. I could end up losing my license or being sued. You as the homeowner can hire me, tell me you want to pay the cheapest, and you can still take me to court and sue me because I didn't do it to minimum basic code. I'm going to tell somebody, I'm going to get to why.
Why they asking
Why are they asking for the cheapest?
If you could ban one kind of job or client forever, what would it be? What kind of job or what kind of client? Just ban that. Like, don't do it.
We have a list of them, but for the most part, it's anything that involves more than like 2 people making the decision. Believe it or not, one of the hardest things for us to get paid from is churches. I'm a really strong Christian myself, but man,
Why do you think is that?
Well, when you get in front of like a church board or HOA board, or the thing is, I might be meeting with Dimitri, and you're telling me what you want bids on, and we got to type out, and you send them these people, and then all they're doing is going down that sheet of paper, and they're looking at that bottom number, and that's all. They don't care about anything else. Nobody explained anything to them. They go to that bottom number. So when there's somebody who it's more than one decision maker, and we can't meet with them, every now and then we'll do like a 2 or 4 unit condo, but we can meet everybody. So we don't want to do business where it's a whole bunch of people involved in making the decision.
Finish this line. If your last roofer skipped this, you're already paying for it.
Yeah, ventilation is the biggest one. Like, if you think of that sentence, if they skip ventilation, you're already paying for it because your roof is wearing out faster and you're paying for higher HVAC bills.
100% agree. What's your take on solar? Is it mostly scam? Are there good players? Like, why you don't do it?
There are good players in solar. There are. I do think it was very gimmicky there for a while. And funny enough, in my state, you couldn't even install rooftop photovoltaic solar if you didn't have alternative energy solutions on your license. And the only way you could get it was you had to have 2 years of prior experience. How can I get the experience if I live in that state? I cannot get the experience. And we literally had to work on getting the laws changed that roofers are allowed to install rooftop solar. So that's why I thought it was a little bit gimmicky, because you're limiting the amount of players in there. And now when you let more players, when you put the people head to head, guess what they're going to do? It's going to look after the consumer. And now you're not going to have these solar guys posting their commission checks online where they made $40,000 last month. That's ripping people off. I think part of it was your electric bill is $300 this month. When you do solar, now you're going to be paying $280 a month. And that's the only thing that they didn't explain to these people anything else that had to do with the whole thing. And they're paying so much. I think it's very gimmicky, but there are really good players who are changing the way. And you've seen the biggest companies go out of business. And the gimmicky part too is they're putting them on bad roofs. And then they're $300, $400, $500 a panel to pull them off and reset them for us to install a new roof. People are paying $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 to have panels pulled off. We put the roof and then they put the panels back on. But if they would have told the people to start with they need a new roof, the people would have made the decision and they'd have paid an extra $50 a month or whatever for a roof back at that time. That was where the most dishonest people were. If you got a 3-tab shingle, you got a roof more than 10 to 12 years old, you don't need to put solar on it. You need to put a new roof on and then put solar on it.
Agreed. What's one roofing myth that drives you crazy?
The roofing myth that kind of drives me a little bit crazy is that somebody's getting a new roof and what they got was new shingles. You know, it's like you think that when we hire somebody and they're using the same shingle, that we get the same thing. But you can go buy the same car and it has different options. So I think that's a big myth in our industry, is that just getting a new roof it just only means new shingles, when no, you need a new roof system with all the components that go along with it. And we got to do better educating homeowners about that.
So true. The last question. Best and worst thing about roofing in Virginia Beach?
That's a tough one. I mean, what's good for us is we have good weather all year long. We have good weather all year long. And if it's 35 degrees out, we'll just wait till next week and it'll be 45. Or if it's 100 degrees this week, then we'll wait till next week. And the second best thing is that we're military there. That's the largest employer around us, between the military and the shipyards and things. So there's always going to be money coming in keeping our industry up. I guess in a roofing perspective, what's worst is that we just don't have a whole lot of damage done by storms that come through there that gives more of a need for a roof replacement sooner than later.
But roofs last 15, 18 years, so you always have that every roof today in at least 15, 18 years will need to be replaced.
Yeah. The average lifespan you have around us is like 19, 20 years. That's correct.
Give advice to the homeowner who's looking to hire a roofer.
Homeowners, you have got to do your research on the companies, and I don't mean just read reviews. If it's required in your state, do they have a license? And you've got to read more than just the dollar amount at the bottom. Which, yes, there are sales guys out there who are trying to inflate their stuff, so you don't want to hire the most expensive person either. But please do your research. And what does that mean is you're going to want to hire who did you most connect with that you felt like is going to take care of you and do a good job. Look at that first, and then look at the pricing separate. And I think that's one of the key things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming up.